with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FANation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook live show. We are looking at today's 8-game main slate. We appreciate all of you tuning in today. We apologize to Mr. Cantler over here being a little late this afternoon. Don't leave us. Don't go to SoCal.
Well, I just
What?
I would like to comment on this.
Why?
Because I appreciate Candler for tuning in, and I appreciate everyone for tuning in. But at the end of the day, there are things that we need to have correct on our ends, whether it's our internet, whether it's the connection to the back end, whether it's something being pulled up on the screen. And we need to make sure all of those things are in check before we go live. So we apologize for being late, but at the end of the day, this is a free show that we do for everyone each and every day, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And sorry, we are a few minutes late today, but I personally, and then not speaking for John here, this is myself, I do not appreciate, guess I'm going somewhere else. We appreciate you watching every day, but if that's the attitude you're going to have, go somewhere else. And sorry, John, for stealing that. And I'm sorry, that's probably the first thing that somebody else heard, but we are on these airwaves every day, Monday through Friday, and we love the amount of people that have tuned in each and every day, but please don't threaten us because we're a couple minutes late. Just a few minutes late. There no needs to be, I'm going to go somewhere else. This isn't something that you pay for. We do this for you guys free every day. Thank you. Welcome to my TED Talk. My apologies, John, but
yeah. Okay. Well, that aside, definitely a way to start off today's show, I guess. We got 8 games.
Happy Wednesday. I was about to say Thursday, but happy Wednesday.
Grande is on your playbook today. So you can get that live over at are you on the playbook today? I don't even know. No, it wasn't you. Okay. Well, the playbook's gonna be out for everybody there. So we have that going on. Again, 8 games starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna break it all down for you position by position. We build a lineup at the end of the show, so we do appreciate those of you who are tuning in and staying with us here this afternoon. A lot of news, obviously, that we were kind of waiting on for today. Some teams on back-to-backs. The big one of the day was Nikola Jokic, obviously, yesterday, not active with the illness. He's seen leaving the stadium before that game even started. He's questionable for today. We'll see if he ends up suiting up here on that second leg of a back-to-back. We have quite a few other teams. No Zion tonight, second leg of a back-to-back. I think we kind of anticipated that one happening. We got a lot of nice game totals, and we have maybe the matchup of the year kicking off the slate. Thunder versus Cleveland, 7 p.m.
Yeah. I mean, whether it is later in the year, I think we have to, at least for now, acknowledge that one team is 31-4 and one team is 30-5. So, kudos to the NBA. Tweeted out yesterday. They were tweeting out about OKC Cleveland yesterday. I'm shocked because I feel like that's been the ongoing theme of the year. Like, let's put Denver and Celtics middle of football Sunday on League Pass, right? And that's it. That was it was three, last or was it no, who did the Celtics play? OKC.
Yeah.
OKC Celtics 3:30 p.m. Sunday League Pass. It's all right, guys, this is a finals preview and we're putting it on week 18 of NFL Sunday on League Pass. And I know it got bumped to NBA TV, but this, I'm happy with first night or first game of the evening, nationally televised game. The two teams that are both on pace to win 70 games should be a lot of fun. And then the follow-up is Wemby versus Giannis. That's the other nationally televised game, which, last year was awesome. So, a lot of fun basketball tonight. Don't know if, obviously, Jokic is going to play. That game was a little dampened to begin with because Kawhi is away from the team. Shout out to everyone in LA, and hopefully everyone's staying safe and from the fires and stuff. But Kawhi literally is nah, I got to leave the team. Families being
a lot of people had to be evacuated. The hundreds and thousands of people being displaced. Terrible situation going on in Southern California right now. And hopefully you guys, if you guys are located or have family members located in that area, hopefully everybody's safe and doing as best as they can, given those circumstances there. From a game standpoint, I mean, we have some pretty decent matchups. Not only just that marquee game with OKC Cleveland, that's a 2.5 point spread with a 230.5 game total. So they're also expecting points to be scored on that one. Yep. But the game that you and I were pretty excited about, Chicago, Indiana, 5.5 point home favorites are the Pacers. Miles Turner, of course, pops up questionable during the middle of the day here today. 242.5 game total there in that one. We were already all in on Zach LaVine. We were waiting on the Tyrese Halliburton news for this one as well, because there could just be plenty of value now popping up on the Pacers side.
Okay. So I was just reading something on this exact situation. So the Pacers backup cousin. I read cousin that Des comment. Enrique Freeman is currently going through warmups at a different time slot than he usually does, John.
Yeah.
He also DMP'd for the Mad Ants today, which is their G League affiliate.
Right.
They also have Ray J. Dennis not playing with the Mad Ants today, and he is a point guard.
Right.
We saw this last week with the Knicks, right? Hawk Purdy getting called up, or whatever the Knicks played. And like, Hawk Purdy getting recalled. Why would they why would they need this player if Towns was playing? Well, no, Enrique Freeman going through warmups at a different time, and not playing in the G League, as well as Ray J. Dennis. Just, if I could do the Rock eyebrow right now, I can't, so I won't. But just in theory, if you were thinking about my eyebrows doing what the Rock can do, that's what I would be doing.
I agree. And obviously we highlighted some really good value in this on the Indiana side. No, Zach LaVine's in. We just really like Zach LaVine on the other side of this matchup. But if you're going to tell me there's no Turner and then no Halliburton tonight, potentially, not official, but both are questionable. We got a midday questionable for Turner, and we have been waiting on the Halliburton news all day. And then, like as James is saying right now, team reports coming out saying that they have some G League point guards working out for them. We're going through pregame warmups earlier than usual. Maybe an indication that no Halliburton. Now, I'm not saying we'd go out there and play Enrique Freeman tonight. We'd play a lot of Nembhard. We'd definitely play McConnell. If there's no Turner, I guess that puts us in on Thomas Bryant and Obi Toppin tonight. Like,
buddy.
Yeah, there would be a lot of value in this game with a 240 total now popping up. And we like LaVine a lot on this evening. So, again, those are some of the highlights. We'll go through again position by position. We appreciate all of you who are tuning in. We got the 7-day free trial going on. You want to check that out, FANation.com/win. Guys, free for 7 days. Promo code Let's Go gets that first month for less than $20. Point guard position, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is $10,500 on this slate. Cade Cunningham is $9,800. We got Dame and Brunson up over $9K as well. Maxey was a favorite play of ours all day today. Has anything changed for you when it comes to our top point guard picks?
I mean, it's a really strong position, right? SGA, you can play him against anybody. He has been elite against everyone. He gets up for these types of games. No issues getting there, especially if the implied team total or the implied game total of 230 hits, then like obviously there's a lot of points scored. Cade is elite. The only thing that would really change is if Towns were to sit. I think Brunson would be on equal playing field as Tyrese Maxey, because Toronto just doesn't have the players to guard Jalen Brunson. That like Orlando does. Plus Toronto plays faster than Orlando, way worse defensively. So like kind of just throwing that outing out. I guess the interesting part would be DeJounte Murray as well. He was really good last night shooting. That was the first time we've seen it in quite a while. It's obviously an elite spot. They're really shorthanded, so shorthanded. So
Yeah, no Zion, no Trey Murphy tonight.
Yeah, no Zion, no Trey Murphy. Already know Brandon Ingram. Like we know the whole thing there. So yeah, I mean there's no wrong answer. I mean, even going down, like Kawhi's out. James Harden's $8,600 against the Nuggets. We've seen James Harden in this spot dominate the Nuggets every time they've played. Who do the Nuggets have to guard James Harden tonight? We've talked about that all year. Like Aaron Gordon's out. I mean, so like every single person, I say there's a case. Tyrese Maxey's the most popular for good reason, obviously. He's
Maxey with a 32% usage rate without McCain, Embiid, and George on the floor this season. From a fantasy points per minute perspective, 1.22. He got off to such a slow start in that Portland game that you and I were kind of like pulling our hair out. The Portland game, Phoenix game. He got off to such a slow start without Embiid.
Damian Lillard now questionable.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So are they still bringing Middleton off the bench, or
they may? All right. Well, that's obviously changing some things there. You'd have potentially no Lillard. I don't know if I'd want to.
Guess what, John? That's the 9:30 game.
I said, are you gonna leave a spot open for Ryan Rollins tonight? Like, but Maxey took forever to get there, and then he had he didn't sit like from the second quarter on. He just played the whole game. So that upside is definitely there for him. Like the Harden, if Halliburton plays, obviously, would definitely get some Halliburton exposure at 85. We played a lot of the 7K tier this season. I mean, if there's no Jokic again, Westbrook just torched the Celtics last night.
He did. He's so. I mean,
we just got the Sixers lineup, by the way. This is how gross this one is.
Is it Edwards?
No. Maxey, Gordon.
Oh my God.
Oubre, Caleb Martin, Yabusele.
Well, I will say, to those who are rushing to roster Eric Gordon, he did have a start the other day, and he scored 14 actual and 23 fantasy points. Guarantee we see Eric Gordon rostership.
Pop.
Guarantee it. Min salary.
Andre Drummond closer to doubtful. So they're basically without both centers. So we're gonna get a full run Yabusele here.
Yeah, and Paul George.
We talked about it on the preview show. I expected those guys to all be here. It is right here. Turner out. Halliburton will play. Out. Halliburton will play.
We're getting some nice early news here.
Taking the show off with some big ones. I like it.
So yeah, I mean, you said it. Thomas Bryant most likely to be the starter. Obi Toppin is the one that's interesting to me, though, because we've seen this, and I guess it just depends on what Rick Carlisle wants to do. How much do they want to play Siakam, at the 5, and how much do they want to extend Thomas Bryant?
I think Obi pops an ownership because he's power forward center.
And there's just such a gap in between Obi and Thomas Bryant when we're talking about like fantasy production. Like when Obi is extended, he is a monster. He's a fantasy point per minute monster. Yeah,
I agree. I listen again. I think more people go to Obi because of the positional eligibility. Again, we're talking about a center position that has Victor Wembanyama, has Nikola Jokic. Has some good plays here tonight. I don't see many people skipping that to go play Thomas Bryant, but if you can slot in an Obi Toppin at power forward utility tonight, that'll make things a lot more easier. So very interesting. Where does Halliburton rank for you now among the guards?
I mean, just another.
Thomas Bryant will start, by the way.
Not surprising. They hate Rick. As good as Obi Toppin is, Rick Carlisle still hates him.
Yeah. You can util Thomas Bryant, or I guess in this situation you'd start Thomas Bryant at center and then util a Wemby or something like that. So
yeah, and like all those like the Yabusele stuff and like potentially Valanciunas.
Well, Yabu's got dual positional eligibility.
Yeah, you can play Yabu. We'll see what happens with Washington. Sar's listed questionable again, just like the rest of their whole team. Like if there's Valanciunas by himself, that's obviously
J-Val by himself against Yabusele tonight. Like,
yeah, I know. Get your popcorn ready. I'm not watching OKC Cleveland. I'd be watching Washington. I'd be watching Washington Philly. Yeah, I mean, Halliburton's up there with everyone else because he's been really good to begin with lately.
70 bomb a few games ago.
He's been really good. The Bulls are missing their best perimeter defender in Ayo Dosunmu. So like that is a tough sell for like thinking you have anything to stop Tyrese Halliburton.
Right, you're getting 30 minutes of Giddey, and then you're getting 24 minutes of Lonzo, right?
Yeah, so like the Lonzo, but like you need the Lonzo minutes to overlap as much as possible with Halliburton, and it's just not going to be the case because he doesn't start the game. So, yeah, man, Halliburton's right up there with the rest of them. Like you're not going to get the same usage rate as you are with Maxey, or if Brunson's team by himself, or Cade team by himself. So like it is still a super stacked point guard spot. It's hard to rank him, John. Like Maxey's still going to be really popular. We'll see. Yeah. Like if Halliburton's ownership doesn't move, I would have like a lot of interest in maybe pivoting off of Maxey to Halliburton, or just playing the popular Maxey while getting a contrarian Halliburton into my lineup as well.
Sure. This season, no Miles Turner.
I got it. I got the data. Yeah. 24-ish% usage rate. This is also with Neesmith off the floor since Neesmith is out. About 1.2 fantasy points per minute. So like solid. I mean, like the usage rate is 8 points lower than Maxey. And that's where it's like also Maxey plays usually a few more minutes, and there's multiple stars out for that team versus, but Halliburton's in the game with 240 implied points. So,
yep, agreed here.
What up, Albert? Salute to you, sir. Thanks for always showing up.
Yep, appreciate it there. And then Anthony, man, Cade and Maxey are fine. We love Cade Cunningham here, and I'm sure more on FanDuel they're probably a bit more expensive. If you're asking me to pick today, I think I might lean Maxey over Cade.
No, dude, he's a Philly guy. We know he's spamming all about Maxey in the chat.
He's had Maxey the whole time. Yeah. All right, so that's all great. Point guards loaded. We didn't even get to like one of our favorite point guards to play with Anthony Simons today. Dude's coming off 54 and 44, $6,500. He's cheaper than all of the other guys we just talked about, and he's popped like they have as recently. So big in on Anthony Simons here today against the Pelicans, who could be severely, downgraded with the team that they're going to be putting on the floor. I guess, if there ended up being no DeJounte today, they had to throw Alvarado, and maybe that would hurt Simons a bit more. But you got that. You got Chris Paul now not having to deal. Maybe no Dame Lillard. Like that's
I think that's a worse matchup for him. I'd love Dame Lillard defense to be guarding Chris Paul.
That's fair. So you have that situation going on. Nembhard, I'm still fine playing Nembhard. Like obviously, it would have been way better without Halliburton, but I'm good going Nembhard still.
Safe.
What are your thoughts on the rest of this value at point guard today?
Yeah, I mean, Keon Johnson, 58. He'll start, play 30 minutes. If he makes shots, I think there's a really high ceiling for Keon Johnson. He's looked really good peripherally. Mm-hmm. So definitely good with Keon. If Bub Carrington plays, I would have some interest. I know obviously he's carrying a questionable tag, but he's looked really good in the last couple of games, and the peripheral stats haven't been the issue. The shot volume and the made shots were the issue earlier in the year. Back-to-back games with 4 made threes for Bub Carrington. So if he starts and there's no Kuzma, and maybe that's it, because we already do have the Jordan Poole news official. So we don't really need anything else. Brogdon's out too, so like Carrington's minutes would be completely solidified. I would play some Bub Carrington 47. You mentioned Alvarado 4K. I think that's a little bit appealing now because, they're already missing Murphy. What are they going to push McCollum on the second leg, even though this is a revenge spot? But if there's no DeJounte, Alvarado we saw earlier in the year was great.
Do we think Brandon Boston tonight? No.
Yes. We'll get to Brandon Boston. He's really popular tonight, and we'll get like super chalk Brandon Boston, which he played a lot last night. He's played a couple times when players have been extended. I don't hate it. It's really cheap. we'll see if it ends up the way that it ends up. And then, I mean, you just got to mention Jared Butler. I think that it was like a pretty bad play yesterday.
Well, that's what I said in the Discord. I was like, not with everybody kind of in, it's hard to get to him, and then it's a blowout, and he plays 22 minutes. So
I think that's the point, right? Like, if Carrington plays, and like, well, Bub Carrington's going to play 30 plus minutes. And, Butler got the fourth quarter blowout run because it was close and then it wasn't. So I don't know.
He played the final 15 minutes of the game. He played 22 total minutes. He played the final 15.
It's kind of, so like in what you're saying, like 7 minutes a half, if that was, averaged out, he plays 7 first half minutes. And then if that game's competitive, he doesn't close. So like, I think it was a little fishy yesterday. I think it's still a little fishy if, Washington rules all their questionables in.
Right. I would agree with you. But if not, I mean...
If not, we're playing Jared Butler and there's no if, and, or buts about it.
And if we're not, I'm going to have to break my plan of single entries and have to throw a few different lineups. I'm running... Now I'm running out of guard spots.
Right, right.
All right. Going on over to shooting guard. Donovan Mitchell gave us to let him know already. He's $8,400.
Oh, he's going to, I'm sure.
He's going to have the torture chamber just all over him tonight.
Yes.
We already mentioned Levine was one of our favorite plays of the day on the preview show. Nothing has changed here. Like, I'm still very much in on Zach Levine at $8,100.
If we're going to get the amount of minutes, Rolly, Halliburton's in. They just announced it a couple minutes ago. If we're going to get this many minutes and this level of scoring out of Zach Levine consistently, then there's just nothing bad to say about a guy who's not getting any ownership again. The ownership's just telling us like one saying like, all right, do it again. And it's like, all right, he has 4 of the last 5 games. He has done it again. Yeah. He just keeps scoring more and more. The assists have been great. The peripheral stats have been great. And they're thankfully not playing as many players anymore. So it's hard not to like Zach Levine in tournaments. I would say like shooting guard, small forward, 8,100 and 240 total should probably in coming off like 4 30-point games in his last 5 should have more ownership. But like,
I think it's because there's just more mid-tier play tonight that like people aren't spending up for him specifically.
Sure.
But again, one of my favorite plays, McCollum at 8K. I don't mind that either. We've seen him just explode. Obviously, bad shooting nights happen, especially when you play a team like Minnesota. Wouldn't be running away from him here in this matchup against Portland tonight.
Agreed.
Especially given who they're missing. If there's no, if there's no Jokic again, I don't know when we'd find that information out. But obviously Jamal Murray was good last night. Played a whole lot of minutes. Him and Westbrook. We kind of got distracted on the Westbrook analysis because all that news broke at the same time. But Westbrook was great last night.
I played him in my lineup. I actually had a stack of that game. And if Dario Saric was just a regular, I would have soared into the cash line.
We're getting a price discount on our guy because Kawhi had been playing, and obviously they figured that was he hadn't played any worse with Kawhi in the lineup, and then his price tag is just taking a plummet here. $6,700 for Norman Powell. I mean, we no reason not to want this spot, right?
No, none. I think the Clippers look very, very appealing as a unit. Well, they're top 3, right? Just like their top 3 look very
Zubac. We had a Zubac mention earlier here.
We'll be getting there. Don't you worry.
All right, so we got that there.
Coach Chris in chat. Coach Chris was hitting me up on Twitter today. He gave me a little like, "Hey, it's me, Coach Chris." I was like, "Salute to you." I did I hit him with the tiger meme.
Yeah,
big dog.
Yeah,
that's the best. That's the one of my favorite memes of all time.
Simons are sharp.
Simons. I know there's more flexibility with Sharp because he's.
He's been also really good. He's also cheaper. I would say if Sharp fits your builds better, fine, but Simons would be a priority. Don't force Simons in your lineup if you don't have to. I think both are really good plays here tonight. So
agreed.
Let's see. Obviously, Matherin is there. Does he get a bump with no Turner at all?
Ben Matherin 1.5% usage bump, 0.9 fantasy points per minute, about 24% usage. So, I mean, a little.
You get that. You have Vassell, who's obviously generally a popular play. Kuzma, Sarr, Carrington, all game time decisions. That game is a 7:00 game, though, so we will know.
We will know. Unless you're the Utah Jazz, who released their lineup 1 minute before lock.
Yeah. So again, to Craig's point, best small forward slate of the season, maybe. I would agree. A lot of guys with dual positional eligibility helping that out in some really good spots here today.
Agreed.
So Vassell included in that group. Middleton now off the bench, maybe question mark with Dame Lillard questionable. He'll probably still come off the bench.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I think he's fine off the bench. It's not going to kill him. He's still going to play a bunch of minutes. Keon Johnson. We had Casey saying good value on the Nets here today. I mean, yeah, they're without everybody again. Do you run back here against Detroit with a guy like Johnson or Martin, Williams, Zaire? What do you think?
Yeah, I think they're all pretty solid. I mean, it's a Detroit's bottom 10 defensively. I prefer probably Zaire, a little bit of Zaire and Martin.
Yeah.
Only because the eligibility. That's
Martin
it though.
I think Martin for me over Zaire because I'm not going to play Zaire over Kelly Oubre.
Right? Yeah, but you could also play both of them.
Sure.
Because
I guess
they
I'm
both have
picking price point, right? Like,
yeah.
This isn't a chalk you want to fade tonight. I don't think. Even if it bombs, it's still not a chalk you want to fade. He's 5K. He's gone for 40 in back-to-back games.
Yeah, and they're just down everybody.
They're
starting Eric Gordon. I mean, it's just...
yeah, exactly. So yeah, Zaire's fine. Like they're fine. They're good plays. We like.
I like the minutes. I like the minutes trending in the direction they're trending.
Darren Sharp's questionable today too, right? Knocking down
Simmons. Yeah, Simmons doubtful. Zaire or Sharp questionable.
Yep. So knocking some more guys out of that rotation there. Tamani Kamara is fine. $4,600, just always out there performing. What do we think about the rest of these here? THJ, Dort, Levert, Strus.
It's like all like Dort and under for me. Like Dort, Brandon Boston.
Yeah, but the Boston play 3,400.
We'll see what San Antonio does with Castle and Champagny. We didn't talk Ryan Rollins also 3,500 at point guard. If you're waiting on the Dame, dude, it's the calf again for Dame, which is dating back to last postseason. It was the calf, and dude, we say this a lot, but anytime you start talking about calf, there's concerns. So
yeah, so you're like plugging Rollins and pivoting to Castle, basically, is what you're doing there.
Yeah, and like util or guard spot, like you cannot play them at because Rollins is also point guard only.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, guard or util spot. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean Champagny, Castle, Boston, I think is $3,400. Brennan Boston makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I just don't know if you'd get the Boston news before the Lillard news, I guess is my saying. If you're pivoting off Rollins, rather.
Yeah, I mean it just depends on your risk aversion. No, because
Boston's currently our third highest projected rostered player. So.
Yeah, and he's gonna play a lot. I mean, he played 25 minutes last night in a game that featured Zion, and now that we know, and there's already no Murphy, there's already no Zion, so like you just have to assume those minutes aren't going down. Especially when he shot 1 of 6 and he still played 25 minutes. So it's not like his shooting could like necessarily take him off the floor.
Agreed. Anything else for you?
Would you play Eric Gordon at $3,000? He started and played 27 minutes when he started. He's also getting 9% rostership. Would you play Eric Gordon? You can just say no. I mean, I'm okay with you. It's 2024, John. You say no. No, I don't want to play Eric Gordon and his bad dentistry and his.
I don't know. I guess you can if you want to, but he's not. He's 10 years too old, I think. Like, just
you can just say no. It's okay.
I'm probably just gonna pass. Small forward. Again, a lot of guys here that we've kind of discussed already. Josh Hart would obviously be you can play Josh Hart if you want, anyways, regardless of Towns or not. But if Towns is out, Hart obviously that much more appealing at 7,900.
He will be less than 1% owned tonight. Almost can guarantee it.
Okay. What else are we looking at here?
Denny is interesting if he plays. I don't love the price, but it is interesting that he's on the injury report. Tuck, Norm. If everyone sits for Washington, Bilal Coulibaly becomes interesting. I would say like not a core play, but he's interesting. Michael Porter Jr. continues to be very productive night in, night out. Just was off to a crazy good start last night, and it kind of tailed off. But I'd be okay with it if Jokic is once again out. We talk Matherin, he's fine. I'm probably not going to play Middleton if he's coming off the bench with the minutes deduction as well. So it's just not something that I'm necessarily. I don't like the trends there. Minutes down, now we're going to the bench. It almost doesn't matter to me if Lillard plays or doesn't play. I'm probably not getting to Middleton. Then you start dipping below like 5K. It's like all this, almost every single guy we've talked about.
Yeah, more Brooklyn plays are down here. Obviously, Martin, Jalen Wilson. We had a Kispert comment earlier. If guys are ruled out, like if everybody gets ruled out, yeah, Kispert would be a play tonight.
I almost still don't care. I like if he beats me for a second consecutive night. I would rather just still play Keyshawn George, who, we at the time we were talking about it, he wasn't doing anything. He finished
doing nothing in that.
Finished game. 24 fantasy points. Like if you give me 28 minutes and 24 fantasy points at $3,400, I'd play that 100% of the time. So I guess and then we didn't. I mean, Caleb Martin, Yeah,
I don't mind Caleb Martin tonight. I'm good going Caleb Martin. Where's his price at here?
49.
I'm good with that. Do you think Herb gets anything going with everybody out tonight?
He's just not like a guy who ever like takes more shots. I feel like because people are out, because he had that opportunity for the last like few weeks. Like there's just always been people out, and he's just like maybe. I mean, it's a good spot. He has a solid producer to begin with. If you get double-digit shots out of Herb, he has a ceiling.
Right. Okay. Anybody else here?
No.
Okay. Power forward. Giannis is now 11-4 without Dame. What does his numbers look like without Lillard on the floor this year?
I mean, they look good if like I don't know. He was playing against the Monstars. I feel like his numbers would still look good. Sure. Without Damian Lillard this year, if Dame is ruled out, which again,
we don't know
has a calf, which is not good. 37% usage, which is a slight decrease.
Okay.
But he is up to 1.75 fantasy points per minute, and that is a slight increase. So, obviously he looks really good if there's no Lillard.
So where does he rank for you among your top overall spend ups on tonight's slate?
I mean, I don't know if this is a slate you need to spend up. We just talked about like 7 point guards in the 8,000s that feel like they have as high a ceiling as the spend ups do, or like comparable at least for the price. So, I mean, he's up there. I'd probably play him ahead of Wemby. If there's no Lillard, I'd probably play him ahead of SGA if there's no Lillard. Okay. Probably Jokic, if Jokic plays, would probably be the only one ahead of him for me.
Okay. Where are you with like Jalen Williams, Evan Mobley, Portis, Siakam? Like Siakam's getting a lot of ownership love today?
He is. I don't know if that was, I'm assuming that had price. There's also I don't know if I buy there's ownership attached to it because there's also like, certain places projecting him in a certain number, and I don't necessarily I wouldn't project him at that same number.
Yeah.
Not that I think he's a bad play, but am I willing to like not play him at the third highest rostered player of the day? Probably. I would say this is just like Williams, Hart, Mobley, all tournaments. Portis, I don't have much interest in at the price. There would have to be like Brillo out for me.
Okay.
Siakam is definitely solid. I just, he's very popular.
That's what I'm saying. He's getting a lot of ownership today, especially without Turner now, right? Like just adding a little bit to that fire.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously Kuzma, if he's in, would be super nice play today. If not, Champagny 5,500 would probably start. Be a good option to get Yabu's got the dual positional eligibility there. What are you looking for value?
Gershon Yabusele.
Yeah. It's easy, right? It's a very clear and obvious spot to go to here.
Yeah, I think Brooklyn's fine. Like Wilson, Clowney, like last pieces in. Harrison Barnes should play a bunch. Keldon Johnson should play a bunch. Obi Toppin, 3,700. I don't know if we've officially gotten any type of update on Obi Toppin, but I am team all first team playing Obi Toppin this year. I have played more Obi Toppin than most. He has been a very good fantasy point per minute guy in this like latter half of the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime there's a front court member out, he gets extended, whether he's playing small ball center or Pascal Siakam's playing small ball center, and Obi Toppin's now playing more 4. So I am going to play Obi Toppin again tonight, and I understand that he's not going to play 40 minutes, and he doesn't need it. So perfect segue into the comment by Casey here. Thoughts on Thomas Bryant? I would rather just play Obi Toppin if you're hell bent on playing Indiana.
Right.
I don't think that there's any like specific number that like unless we knew that Thomas Bryant was playing 30 minutes, I'm not sold that he's a great play.
Sure. Center gives us Jokic, gives us Wemby. Can play Towns, he can play Giannis, assuming they're all in tonight. If Jokic plays, is he the number one play for you on the slate? Day'Ron Sharp officially out. We are getting the Nets news now.
I do think that helps Noah Clowney because I think you're now going to get like possible start at 4, backup 5 stuff for Noah Clowney, which is really good for him, obviously.
I'm glad that Day'Ron Sharp's not playing today after being the chalk monster come through for everybody the other night.
Yeah. Is Jokic? No. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not really spending up, so I don't know. Okay. It's tough to answer. We had a question like, so Bills Mafia has been asking us all day to give us our like top spend up.
Yeah.
I would say just default it's Jokic, but we don't know if he's going to play. And if you do want to play that, you have Giannis. Like if you don't get that news, or you'll get that news ahead of time, if he's out, you could just pivot to Giannis. And
we had a Giannis Wemby question here for David. So
yeah, I already answered that though.
Okay.
I would say like you play Jokic, you have the pivot to Giannis, but you're also going to have other pivots around that. Like you're going to want to play Westbrook in that if you're in that range and stuff.
Agreed. All right, so those are obviously all your top guys now. No Turner. Does that make Vuk more appealing to you tonight?
I'm not playing him at 8,700.
Okay. Let's get that spot. Zubac, someone highlighted. You mentioned obviously his production here of late. Is this regardless of Jokic or only if Jokic is out?
Jokic is a terrible defender, so I'm good with playing Zoo against Jokic.
He's only averaging 36 fantasy points in the 2 games against them, but he is shooting 50% from the floor.
Yeah, he had one good game. He went for 50 against them, and he sucked the second time.
Yeah. So obviously you can always play Zubac if you want here. The season he's having just a really good year for him there. Any other mid-tier options for you? We did mention DeAndre Ayton on the morning show.
Yeah, he's popular too. Was popular. Oh my God. So getting ownership updates here.
Yep.
Thomas Bryant is very popular.
Yeah.
So is Obi Toppin.
Which makes sense, right? Like,
does Valanciunas play more than 22 minutes if Alex Sarr is out? You would think.
Does he Bagley? Right?
No, he's out. No, he's out.
Baldwin? Will they play Baldwin?
Baldwin, I don't know when. He was recalled from the G League 4 days ago, so I think their backup center would probably be Rashawn Holmes or like Anthony Gill would probably be like the backup center in that. Sure. I would say my answer is yes to Valanciunas playing more, but that is like not a confident yes. That is a yes because they probably you would assume he would, but
Do we have to throw away the Tibbs coach speak regarding pregame warmups now? After
yeah, probably.
Okay. Yep. Towns is a game time decision, so we'll have to see how he transforms there. So I mean, obviously the value. So with all that value now popping up, Maxi's you're one of your highest overall spend ups, as is Harden. Cade is your highest 9K up spend up right now. And we have SGA getting more than Giannis, Wemby, and Crew. So that's kind of where the money is going with all the value on the slate today.
I'm telling you, like, if Thomas Bryant is the one that beats me tonight, like, it is what it is. But I just think for less ownership, and it's not a big discrepancy. Obi Toppin's pretty popular.
I don't think Sarn even needs to be out for Joe Val to have a big game tonight. I just think that Joe Val might get 2 to 4 more minutes if Sarr gets ruled out tonight. So,
I just want Obi Toppin over Thomas Bryant, and I do agree with the.
Well, you can play Obi Toppin, but they're getting very similar ownership. Bryant's getting 5-6% more.
I would just the preference is just Obi Toppin for me. Yeah, like at the end of the day, like I'm gonna let Thomas Bryant beat me, and it is what it is. If I lose because I played Obi Toppin instead.
David, I don't know if you're on FanDuel or DraftKings or not. Cade is higher than Halliburton on DraftKings. On FanDuel, Cade is let's see, where's Cade? Cade is higher than Halliburton on both platforms. So
both by like they're pretty close to each other.
Closer on FanDuel than DraftKings, but close overall. So all right. Thoughts on Jalen Duren?
He plays basketball for the Detroit Pistons, and he may or may not get in foul trouble. He may play upper 20s minutes. He may play lower 20s minutes. And he has a high ceiling. And sometimes he will ruin your lineup before it's 7:30, or the game will start 7:40, right? It'll tip 7:40. Mm-hmm. You'll know by 7:43 whether you're just moving on to the Thursday slate or not.
Or the late slate. Right?
Or the late slate.
Start building your late slate lineups depending on how the Jalen Duren experience treats you there. All right. What else are we looking at center then? We talked value already. Is there anybody else we haven't mentioned that you'd be in on?
I don't hate that idea, Josh, but I don't know. Talk to Clowney.
I don't really want to play JRE here, man, with everybody else that's valuable. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not against it. He's $3,000. He played 21 minutes in a game that Zion played yesterday, and there's no Zion today.
I mean, no one's playing him, so you're going to get super low ownership.
He played very early on. He checked in for Zion. I mean, what is their starting lineup? McCollum, Murray if he plays, Herb, Misi. Do they just play Boston and they have Herb at the four?
I think you play Boston.
And then Alvarado, JRE, Hawkins, Tice. Yeah. So I mean,
Tice had like 8 rebounds in like 5 minutes last night. I was laughing at his activity there for him.
He's trying to get traded to somewhere that doesn't have
somewhere that will also not play him as much.
5 wins, yeah.
All right. Well,
Does Brooklyn have only 8? Let's see. Claxton, Keon, Williams, Wilson, Martin, Clowney, Tosan, Beekman. Who's the 8th? That's 7, no? Yeah. Claxton, Johnson, Williams, Martin, Wilson, Clowney, Tosan, Beekman. That's 8. Yeah. Holy cow.
I mean, again, the Nets are a good value tonight, right? Obviously, some of them got more priced up than they had been, but it's all about now factoring in their value versus the rest of the value that's on the slate. You know, it feels like you could go Stars and Scrubby tonight, but we've talked a lot. Like, there's so much like mid-tier guys that we like that we don't find ourselves really spending. And the field isn't really spending all the way up on everybody here today either. So it's so it can be very interesting lineup builds for this 8-game slate. Are you ready to build a lineup here, James?
Yeah.
Okay. Would Castle be a good hammer play? I mean, maybe we were assuming he starts, but again, he only played like 25 minutes there. So, and in Boston,
I think there's just better. There's probably just better value with how much is opened up throughout today.
Yeah, and assuming Boston starts, I'd rather play Boston over Castle, I think, for me. So I don't know if you agree or not with that, but all right, let's get it going. We're going to obviously go with Toppin. Going to go with Yabu, and we'll figure out where we're going to go. Oubre. Levine, probably. What do we think?
We just got to make sure we're making sure our point guard spend ups are.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got Maxey at 89. Gives us Simons at 64, like right on the dot there. 63.50 for forward util with this current build. Could get another mid-tier option, couple of mid-tier options here. Is there another like obvious value play that you want? We could do one value, one spend up. Like, let's see. So Norm was 67. You got the Vassell 6K.
I mean, there's a bajillion like Brandon Boston is $3,400.
We did Boston $3,400. I guess it's a 93 util, which could be Brunson, could be Barnes, Harden. We were in on today. Harden's obviously in a good spot here.
Yeah, Harden or Brunson probably. I mean, the Brunson we'll not know on the Brunson stuff, but
well, like we're comfortable with Harden regardless. So if we and we have the money to pivot up to because the Harden thing's there. So yeah, Westbrook would be obviously a great spot which we could pivot to if guys end up moving out there. So example lineup here, stacking some Philly. Maxey, Oubre, Levine, Toppin, Yabu, Simons, Boston, Harden, $700 left over to kind of move some things around for everybody. Again, plenty of value on tonight's slate. I believe it's Keith that's on the playbook for today. You can get that checked out over on Fantasy Alarm for everybody. We'll have the ownership updated as well to get you all ready for tonight's slate. Some more news still to wait, so hopefully we get that soon and we can get all updated for you there. Westbrook probably low owned. I mean, as of now, but you get the opportunity, right? Last game on the slate, Jokic gets ruled out and you build your pivots. Second to last game. Yeah,
second to last game.
And have your pivots makes an opportunity to get you some Westbrook there. So we appreciate you all tuning in tonight, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Get us in the Discord, get us on Twitter, and we'll catch you later.